Well, my name is Kari Larson. I was born in Wilmington, North Carolina. A lot of people say, they ask me where I'm from because of a bit of my accent. They say, oh, if you're from New York, but I was actually born in New Hanover Regional Medical Center, where I still volunteer today. I do a lot of volunteer work and things like that. I completed almost 800 hours of volunteer work like over the past 4 years, so that's kind of something I'm involved in. But I was homeschooled for a few years. I was homeschooled first when in first grade for a year, and then I went into Wilmington Christian Academy. And then after 7th grade, I was homeschooled from 8th grade onward, and this senior year I'm doing at Mosley. I learned about the E-Academy opportunity actually through a postcard, which I know isn't the traditional way to find out about things these days, but I got the postcard in the mail and it was like, do you want to take online classes as a homeschooler? And I was like, okay, and so I called them. And then I spoke to Wendy Kraft, I believe, and the different opportunities, like what I could do with AP classes and stuff like that, which was more what I was interested in, especially like AP online classes. So that's sort of what brought me here. All right, so I was actually taking online classes already, and so it was a good fit for me because I was able to take those online classes for free through the state, and especially able to take a lot of AP classes, which often aren't offered through like private resources. So just the ability to take that many AP tests was kind of appealing for me, especially for college and stuff like that. I think the hardest part about being an E-Academy student is that you do have to take your own initiative with classes. There's no teacher telling you, oh, you have to do this, you have to do this, or you have to turn in this assignment as like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think kind of not being the type of person who's going to procrastinate a lot. I am that person, but kind of pushing yourself away from that is probably the hardest part of being an E-Academy student, just like actually making sure you're actually doing what you're supposed to when you're supposed to be doing it. I think that's the most difficult part that most people would encounter. For me, I like the self-paced learning. I like being able to kind of go at your own pace. Like for example, personally, I like to do them in blocks. So I'll do all my work for one class one day and then all my work for another class the next day. And that's kind of how I function as a person. And so kind of being able to do your own education, not having to wait for other people or, listen in on just choosing what you learn and the way you learn is the best opportunity that I think fits for me. A lot of college admissions officers actually like people who do online and homeschool type things because it kind of shows that you have the ability to do things on your own, which is a lot of what college classes and stuff like that are going to be in the future. All right, so the typical day for me is probably waking up around like 9, 10 o'clock, and then I do a little bit of homework. I'll do a lot of reading first, so I like to get all my reading done in one big block. So I'll read the books that I need to do or do the online notes that I have to do, and then I'll move on to doing homework. And so if I kind of block it out by like a day by day, I'll do all the work for that one class in that one day. And so say if it's AP European History, I'll wake up, I'll do all the reading for that thing, I'll do all the homework for that week, and I'll just get that out and knock it out. And then I'm done with that, and then I can kind of have my own free time to do volunteer work or to do any other extracurriculars I like. So I kind of have that schedule to where I can kind of manipulate it to whatever I want to do that day. Like maybe I want to go out to lunch that day. I don't have to worry about it or think about it, so I can just kind of fit it. A lot of times, honestly, I do a lot of my work in the evening because I feel like that's when I'm most active. And so sometimes I'll be in, 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll just be hammering out some homework while I have some free time. My advice would most likely be to have an actual schedule where you're thinking about what's due like in the upcoming weeks, not just what's due that week. This way you're kind of prepared beforehand, especially because you kind of have a certain accountability where you have to look into your own schedule and assignments when you're in E-Academy. So I think actually for planning, like this is what I have to get done in the future weeks, this is like big projects I have to do, is probably the most important vital step if you're kind of taking an online curriculum. All right, so I do a lot of volunteer work mostly because that's very accessible for homeschoolers. So I volunteer right now I'm not doing much because it's AP season, but I volunteered for the past 4 years, every single week almost at the Belling Mansion. I was a host there. I also volunteered at the hospital and the pediatric center. I volunteered at a lot of different places like the library, like the Cape Fear Museum, and different opportunities like that. So I've kind of in the interest, I like history, so I've kind of pursued a lot of things with history and with kids and kind of in things that I enjoy personally and molded it after that. I would recommend the E-Academy to a friend, particularly because I think it gives you the opportunity to do your own thing at your own pace, and especially if you've been traditionally homeschooled, I guess you can say, you have the ability to take a big, wide range of classes, I guess, that your parents might not be able to teach you. And if you want to go to college, taking a lot of APs and honors classes and kind of having that accountability for grades is really important when you're applying, so I think that's definitely a big draw.